Pooperdix people. It is time for another set review video. This time I'm going all the way back into the beginning of time itself with alpha, beta, and unlimited because, well, there's only 78 cards here to review, so it shouldn't take me too long. I'm beginning here now a begrudging process of reviewing each set from Magic's past history to see just how our format evolved and developed and progressed organically over time before it was even conceived in the days of alpha, beta, and unlimited. As I'm sure that I think actually the original inception of the idea of the format of Pauper was around about the year 2000. In the year 2000. Anybody remember that? Yeah, if you do, you're old as dirt. Anyway, I am done flapping my lips. Let's see what we got here. And but yeah, it's been the only thing else I was trying to add to that is that every set, it's been said that, each new set gets about 1 to 3 Pauper cards that are actually playable and usable for the format. So let's see if we get a set where it's like, wow, we got like 20 cards in this one set. And let's see if it's before or after people started playing Pauper. That'll be interesting to find out, right? All right, here we go. Banalish Hero, 1/1 bands. I don't know about you guys, but banding is really confusing. I don't know if they even... I don't know. I would get really confused if somebody threw a banding creature out at me. Just the whole way that... Is anybody else confused about banding? I just haven't bothered trying to even think about banding for so long. I think it would end up being just... I think most people would just call a judge, because 90% of us that play Magic these days haven't heard that word in probably 20 years. Anyway, I guess a 1/1 that bans could be pretty good. I mean, pretty strong. The way I understand banding is you can take all your creatures and put them together and then block and distribute the damage so that none of them actually die. They all take and if you have 50 creatures banded together, I guess some of them don't even have to take the damage. I could be wrong about that. Okay, so COPs. Those are obviously broken, powerful cards, especially COP Red. Direct damage, great cards and seriously overpowered. Maybe with all this talk of banning here tomorrow, we could just ban those cards. I don't know. I seriously hope we don't see any new cards banned tomorrow, though, for real. Anyway, another next broken card. So this right off the bat, we've already got at least COP Black and Red. Definitely Red. I'd say Red is it's a sideboard card. COP Red's a sideboard card, all right, at the very worst. If we can just discount all the rest of that, but we got one sideboard card for Pauper and one solid card for Pauper right there, Counterspell. That's a definite first solid card of the set. The very first Pauper card ever, Counterspell. If you ask, right before that, COP Red, even though it's more of a sideboard card. So 3 sets, and we already have 2 Pauper cards. I mean, granted, these were printed each time, but... Crawlworm, insanely too expensive. That's a dud. Dark Ritual, if you ask me, that's another powerful card. Doesn't see enough Pauper play. It's great in black aggro, so I would say that's another definite Pauper card for sure. So already we've got 3 Pauper cards. Even though Dark Ritual doesn't see a lot of play, black aggro does enjoy the hell out of Dark Ritual. When you're playing 1-drop creatures, it just makes sense to first turn swamp, tap, Dark Ritual, and then out comes 3 creatures. Death Ward. 1 white, regenerate target creature, it's an instant. I mean, back in the day that might have been powerful, but these days that's just kind of a waste of a card slot. It doesn't have enough, there's not enough synergy there to use this. I mean, then again, it could be really powerful on, like, say, a Ulamog's Crusher, or somebody, you know, destroys your Ulamog's Crusher with, like, a Doomblade or something, you know? But I just can't see anybody actually using that card. Not seriously. Previous to all the other sets, though, I mean, just these, you know, this is all there was back in the day, so that was a pretty strong card back then, but now, yeah. Anyway, done talking about Death Ward. And Disenchant is another one of those cards I've always used, and there's been other cards that have just kind of printed it into obsolescence. I don't know what the word is there I'm looking for, but you know what I mean. Disenchant is good, but there are better things. Like, I think Demystify is one. It's only 1 drop white. Does the same, or nearly the same thing. Drain Life. I love this card, but Grey Merchant of Asphodel just does it better. And yeah, it's not really playable anymore. Used to be back in the day, but I mean, you had to run all black. It just doesn't work in 2-color decks. Drudge Skeletons. Yeah. Another one of those cards that was probably good back then and just sucks now. I mean, regenerates, that's... I like how there's an S on there. Just black, regenerates. Earth Elemental. Wow. Vanilla, 4/5 for 5. Total dud. Evil Presence. Target land is now a swamp. I didn't even know this was a Pauper legal card. That's pretty neat, especially if you're playing Swamp Walk creatures. It's really pretty neat, you know? I mean, pretty decent. You could just, like, have a bunch of unblockable creatures if all your creatures are Swamp Walk. As long as they don't have Disenchant or something better. Or Counterspell. Anyway, I'd say Evil Presence is playable. I've never seen anybody use it, and I don't know if it's been printed lately enough to actually be able to be affordable. I have no idea, actually. Didn't even know the card existed until just now. Fear. That card, yeah, just kind of a dud. It's alright, but I would never main deck anything that has, you know, the potential to be a dud against your potential opponent. I mean, if you're playing against somebody playing black, then this card is completely useless. And if it's main board, then your first game you're playing with duds. Don't do that. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. Fire Breathing. I like Crown of Flames better, but before Crown of Flames, there was only Fire Breathing. And, yeah, but I wouldn't call that a very playable card. Maybe back then, but not now. Fire Elemental. 5/4 for 5. Okay, that's better than Earth, but still vanilla. Flight. Yeah, another waste of a card slot. There's just so many cards that do so many things nowadays, but back then, Magic was simple and fun. Fog. That card is definitely Pauper playable. So we got Fog, we got Counterspell, we got Dark Ritual, that's 3. But even if we discount Dark Ritual and the COPs for their sideboard nature, we've got so far Counterspell and for sure Fog. Okay, that's 2 playable cards out of 78, and we're getting there. I don't know. We're in the Fs. Forest. Wow, that's powerful. Great card. Yeah, Giant Growth. Yeah, it's a solid card. I love it, but there's cards that have made it obsolete, so it is not a playable card in my opinion. It is close, nearly playable, but not playable enough, not good enough. Just barely misses the mark. Giant Spider. Giant waste of a card. That card has been printed into infinity and beyond. Glasses of Urza. Hey, guys that like to run Gitaxian Probe, why don't you just put one of those in your deck, you know? Can look at your opponent's hand. I mean, that's Of course, nowadays it's tapped. You can look at the opponent's hand, I suppose. I don't know how that worked back in the day. What do you just play it and look at your hand and just that's it? One time? I don't know. That must have been confusing back in the day. Goblin Balloon Brigade. 1 red and it gains flying ability till end of turn. Controller may not choose to make goblins fly after they have been blocked. Yeah, I'm going to block it. Well, then I'm going to make it flying. You can't do that. It takes a while to pump up a balloon. You can't just pump up. All right, anyway. 2/2 for 2. The original bear. Not really playable unless you're playing some sort of thing that makes vanilla creatures do stuff, like Marigranda Petroglyph. That would be a fun card to see Pauper play, like downshifted to common. I don't know if anybody remembers that card. Marigranda Petroglyph. Hey, you know, what would be great also? Oh, wait, maybe not. But I was just kind of thinking, no, you know, Howling Mine would be a great replacement if we got rid of Palace Sentinels, but then Blue would just use it and stomp us all, so never mind, that was a bad thought. Healing Salve is just not very playable. Not even for me back in the day did I rarely used this card. I had plenty of them, and I'm just like, nah. I mean, granted, I never had any from the first 3 editions, but yeah. Hill Giant, 4 for a 3/3, no thank you. I'd rather go for 2 for a 2/2. Holy Strength, holy shit, not very playable, but back in the day, pretty strong, pretty powerful for those days. Not Pauper playable. Howl from Beyond, that's a great surprise, you know, like, oh, you're going to attack me for 5, whatever, I'll take it, and then, boom, I'm just going to add some extra mana there, and whatever, I'm just going to, that was a great card, and, there's another one that stuck, that, like, stayed on the creature, like, you could, that was pretty good, too, around Tempest. I can't remember what it was called. I'm sure we'll run through it eventually, but still, these cards are not playable. Heirloom Minotaur, another vanilla creature, 3 for a 2/3. Not playable. Invisibility, target creature can be blocked only by walls. Actually, I think this card is, one of the more expensive Pauper cards in the format. I think it's a mythic, basically, for the format. Because I made a deck called I'm Rich, Bitch. You know, kind of... basically, I took all the most expensive cards from the Dimir set of Pauper cards. Because, like, there's a Portal 3 Kingdoms card that let you go and fetch land and put it into play untapped. That's like $60 or some craziness. And obviously, yeah, it's really expensive. But invisibility, I think that's a Pauper playable card. You don't see it often, though, because it hasn't been printed in forever. Anyway, so maybe 3 cards, but we'll just go ahead and not count that because you don't see that in any Pauper decks. It's not ran in any meta decks, so we'll just stick with the 2 that we have so far, which is Counterspell and what else did I say? Counterspell. I'm sorry, guys, and Fog. Okay, we're going to stay harsh here. Be very harsh, even though Invisibility and Dark Ritual are very and COP Red. Ironclaw Orcs. Yeah, 2/2 for 2. Another bear. Jump. Yeah, just no, not a good card. I guess, yeah, back in the day it would have been, but Library Lang, that's so awesome that's been printed down to common. I love the card, but I haven't seen anything that really, in Pauper yet, that's really going to make use of having infinite hand size. I love that card, though. I'm going to do something with it one day. I may just have to build a deck around it, a deck that wants to just, like, fill up your hand and keep your hand like that. Could be good for like one of those decks where you go infinite and draw a bunch of cards. I forget the name of the card, but I just did it in one of my recent videos where I drew like every card but the last card in the deck, and so it would have been kind of neat to have one addition to that of Library Lang in the deck, so I could play that card as insurance in case somehow my infinite strategy got stopped and I had to go to turn like a couple turns further before I could do something or whatever. I don't know. Not a playable card at this point, but we'll see. Lightning Bolt is certainly playable, so that's 3 cards right there from the first 3 sets, but they were all printed. I'm pretty sure there was no Nothing new or different from beta to unlimited. Llanowar Elves, that's number 4. That's a playable card. I mean, that sees play in Elves all day long. Merfolk with the Pearl Trident. Hey, give us a reason to play Tribal, and maybe that could be a playable card along with the Mess of Pegasus. Flying bands, 2 for 1/1. Man, that's not bad. Mountain, obviously. I don't even have a joke for you guys anymore. I don't care. Obstinous Golem, 6 for a 4/6 vanilla. Meh. Just dud. Orcish Orflame. When attacking all of your attacking creatures, get +1/+0 for 4. That's not really playable. But I have used it from time to time. Paralyze, I think, is playable, but also just kind of Pestilence, that's 5. Okay, we got Lightning Bolt, Fog, Counterspell, Pestilence. What was the other one? Llanowar Elves. 5 cards in the first 3 sets. Okay. Phantasmal Forces, not playable. 4 for a 4/1 flying. Controller must spend blue to upkeep, or it's destroyed. Every upkeep you gotta pay a blue. For a 4/1 flying, that could be playable, but do we see it played? No. Phantasmal Terrain, that just, changes the land type or whatever. That's good with your land walk abilities from back then, and that could be useful in a land walker deck, but obviously it doesn't see play these days, so I'd call it non-playable. Phantom Monster, 4 for a 3/3 flying. I'd say that's decent for blue, but especially back then. These days, it's not really playable. Power Sink. Hey, remember the original Syncopate? I'd call this card playable, because it's Syncopate. It's just called something different. That's the original Syncopate. I like this card, but I guess Syncopate does it better, so we don't use it, so it's not playable. Prodigal Sorcerer. That's pretty much playable. Psychic Venom. That's also pretty much playable. But do these cards see play? Not really. So we'll just stick with the 5, even though we've got potentially 5 more. Raise Dead, nah. Regeneration, nah. Resurrection, that's Pauper legal now, and it's a good card, but is it played? Not really, because it's 4, and there's Exhume, and Exhume does it better for cheaper. Although, late game, that could be a good card too. I'd say it's almost playable. So, but we're still at 5. Savannah Lions, that's a playable card. 2/1 for 1. But, will I call it playable? No, not for this video. I'm being very strict in this journey here. We've still got just 5 cards from the first 3 sets. Script Sprites, I love that card, but not playable. 1/1 flying for 1 green. Let's see what we got. The last 18 cards. Alright. Shannon Dryads, whatever. Nope. Shatter was playable. Not really anymore. Spellblast, the other Syncopate. Except you have to pay X for whatever the card costs. It's playable in my book, but not for what we're doing here. It's still just 5 cards. Stone Rain. You've got to call this one playable, because land destruction decks that run land destruction and have the color red are going to use Stone Rain. If they don't, then they're just doing too much. We're going to call that almost, but not. Still just 5 cards. Stream of Life, that one's good. That one could be called playable too. For the purposes of what we're doing, it's not. Terror, same book. Tranquility, same book. That's a sideboard card all day long. We will just stick with the 5 though. Twiddle, you tap or untap anyone, land, creature, or artifact in play, instant. So yeah, I'm going to tap this to attack you. Well, in response, I'm going to twiddle but that's not really that. That's kind of it doesn't do enough to be used in a deck. Unholy Strength, I love the card, love the print. Not really playable. Still 5 cards. Unsummon, Wall of Fire, nyeh. Wall of Wood, nyeh. Wanderlust, I didn't even know that was Pauper playable. Does 1 damage to target creature's controller during upkeep. Wow, so it's like Curse of the Pierced Heart, but it costs, I think, 1 more and it's green. Neat, but not playable. Warp Artifact does 1 damage to target artifact's controller at start of each turn. That's neat, but not playable. Weakness, that card, there's only, there's better stuff. Alright, hold up. Sorry, guys. That was not meant to happen. I should turn on Do Not Disturb. Weakness, not playable. Wild Growth, not really playable. So there you have it. First 3 sets, we got 5 solid cards. Lightning Bolt, Fog, Counterspell, and I already forgot the other 2. Lightning Bolt, Fog, Counterspell, Land of War Elves, and what was that last one? Jeez, it's going to bug me. Hold on. I'm sorry. Come on. I'm going to teach you guys, though. If you stick with me, you'll know. You know, when you go through your old cards, you'll just know. These cards will jump out at you. Land of War Elves, Lightning Bolt. 1, 2. Fog, 3. Oh, Pestilence. Counterspell. Okay. There, yeah, that's what it was. Funny how my memory works. Alright, well, thanks for watching this, and we'll see you soon for the next review of the next 3 sets, or maybe we'll just do one set at a time. Once we get into the interesting ones, like Arabian Nights, that's going to be all alone. But if, like, I don't know, I might just, I can't remember. Whatever, anyway, see you guys on the next review set. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Let me know what you guys think about all that. What are your thoughts on the on this series that I'm starting? Is this a good idea? Should I just quit while I'm ahead? Is this boring as hell? You tell me. And thanks for playing. See you next time. Ta-ta.